Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of State of Survival with Sticky Fan Gaming. And today's episode is a little bit special. Is one I've been holding on to for about a month and a half now. That has been requested a lot by State 27, and it is the water raid fight that we had with them back when plasma cores first came out. So I was only a 1 star at the time, and then they had a 2 star, which was a pretty big deal because they had just came out, and then they had a couple other 1 stars as well. So shout out to S27, the elite, and shout out to Dazza, Sparks, and Astro of that alliance as well, who really gave us a run for our money back when we were fighting them about a month and a half ago. So without further ado, I'll let you guys go ahead and watch the battle play out, and I'll talk over it, kind of explaining some things of what's going on. Be aware that this is a little bit sped up just because the event itself is typically an hour, and so I wanted to condense it as much as possible so this video doesn't drag out to be an hour as well. So starting off, my job typically in Water Raid is that I handle everything on the right hand side. So I will park at the munitions factory, and then I will send troops to all the water facilities on the right hand side and take them pretty quickly, and then our alliance will reinforce those. And I'm telling you our strategy because this is no longer our strategy, but this is what we were doing back then. Now on the left hand side, we had our secondary rally leader park at the dev camp, and then he would do the same strategy that we do on the right side, but just for the left. Now Nimki, our heavy hitter, he was kind of a like a floater. He would go to whoever needed help and support at the time, and he would help them out. And as you can see on the screen right now, S27 didn't waste any time. Dazza, their big guy, came straight up to me. He started to rally me, and I was, hoping that everyone reinforcing me would kind of protect me. But my best heroes were out at the time. And then Dazza does have some pretty good stats as well. And so he was able to beat me. He burned me, and I don't get burned very often. But he did. He burned me, and we had to adjust our plans just a little bit. I went ahead and called Nimki for help, and at this point, I'm the only 1 star on our team. Nimki is still just HQ 30. Most of our other guys are still just HQ 30. And like within the first 5 minutes, as you can see on the screen, I lost 414,000 troops. It's a lot. It is a lot, and I had to heal all those guys up pretty quickly and just pray for the best. So Nimki's over here now. He's rallying Dazza. Hopefully, we're going to be able to burn him. While all of this is going on, I'm still doing my job. I'm holding all the buildings that I can. Right now, it's just one, but I am sending marches to other buildings. I think my biggest problem when we were fighting these guys is we didn't have as many people on that we needed to have online at the time. As you can see on the top of the screen, it was 18 against 19. And it's just, it's an even matchup, yes, but it's so much harder to spread out troops when you only have like 19 people online. That basically means that on each side of the map, you only have 8 people. So actually, really, you have 7 because you have the 2 rally leaders, and then you have the 7 people reinforcing those rally leaders, and then you have Nimki, who is the floater. So not a whole lot of troops to go around. We can't really fill up all these buildings, but we're doing what we can, you know? You see all the rallies that are being set. You see all the attacks that we're winning. And as you can see, Astro there again, pretty good stats. And so we're just telling our guys what they need to do. On the left-hand side, you can see that G.I. Joe, our secondary rally leader at the time, was having a pretty tough time getting those buildings. I was having a difficult time myself because I was dealing with the 2-star and some of the other 1-stars. And we're just hitting off rallies. And we're just scrambling at this point. It's very hectic, as you can see on the screen. I'm still healing troops. I'm running out of speed-ups. I have a bunch of bio caps I want to burn through later on, as you see. We're just really struggling right now. So it's like every time that we take one of their facilities or one of their buildings, they take another one, and they have so many reinforcements in these buildings, I can't solo them. Typically, if someone's in a building and the leader of that building has weak stats, and I know that a strong player isn't reinforcing that building, I can solo it and knock it out. But right now, I'm not able to. Nimki told me to kind of adjust with the game plan. Don't just sit there, like go off and do what you can. So I ported away and I started to hit their settlements. But S27, they're not idiots. They're very smart. They were porting away as I sent troops out to their settlements, and I would have to use speed ups and whatnot to catch them. So these guys knew what they were doing. And another big thing is since water rate has changed recently, every time that you port and you don't use a free port, it charges you one port, then two ports, and three ports. And so you're burning through a lot of advanced teleports, and you don't want to do that. So that's one thing that they've changed since way back in the day when the event first was playing out. As you can see, the middle reservoir is now open. And S27 took it initially, but then Nimki came in, blasted them, was able to take it. And now we're going to go ahead and reinforce that. And please don't judge me off of my troop formations that I'm doing right now and my hero formations. This is just really hectic. This is not typically like what my go-to formations are. So don't take what I'm doing right now as word and be like, oh, Sticky Fang is using purple heroes as the leaders, or he's sending these crazy marches. Let's do that. Don't follow this. I wasn't panicking, but I didn't have time to do what I wanted to do because it was very like water raid is a very fast paced event. Every second that goes by are seconds of where you're losing points if you aren't able to, capitalize. So right now it's still fairly close. It's only about 34,000 to their 50 something thousand. And we're trying to just stick with them, We're trying. It's not working very well though. So we are starting to get some buildings back. On the right-hand side, as you can see, we're holding three of them, and now we just held the fourth one. We have the middle reservoir, and now we have two of them on the left. So our points should start coming back, but this isn't going to last very for long because Dazza comes back into the picture, and he just starts raining hellfire. So you'll see what happens here in a second. They're starting to take some of the buildings on the right-hand side. They see that a lot of our big guys are occupied. We're not able to go and defend those buildings. So they're taking advantage and they're just knocking out our smaller guys and then putting their own troops in there. So there you see Dazza. He got hit by Nimki, wasn't able to get that middle reservoir. And I think he's going to rally about two more times in the middle. And then he's going to get a wonderful idea to hit everyone who isn't Nimki because, that's the only person who can beat him. I just lost a rally attack from Astro. Again, Astro has very good stats. And we're just doing what we can here, Just trying to survive at this point. Look, the points have come back. We're now almost tied. We came back from like a 20,000 point deficit. And S27 did not like that at all. I'm going through all my speed ups. I'm giving it my all here. I know a lot of people say that I play it recklessly because I just run through speed ups and whatnot. And you're absolutely true. I do run through a lot of my resources when I play, but hey, if you don't give it your 100% every time, then when you lose, you can't say that you could have did something about it, All right, so just checking out more of the action here. I'm just looking at everyone, trying to be sneaky and help everyone as I can, but only one guy can only be in so many places at once. Nimki's doing everything he can. G.I. Joe's killing it. And all of our reinforcing players, our support players, are doing a really good job. Like Stebbs, shout out to Stebbs, really trying his best here. So we're winning right now. We're winning 77 to 64. And time is dwindling down. We're about to reach about the halfway point for this event. Still trying to call out, what to do. We saw that Dazza was on the move, so we were trying to look for him on the map to see, what he was doing. And sure enough, he was starting to clear buildings. He was just like, okay, I can't take the middle reservoir. You guys can keep it. You guys can take it. I don't even want it. He's going to go start taking the ones on the outskirts. So on the right-hand side, we went from having all of them to now only have one. On the left-hand side, we went from having two of them to having none. And now we have the middle reservoir, but without the other buildings, we don't get nearly as many points as we need to keep this lead. and S27 is going to start coming back, you know. So right now our game plan has changed. We're all going to port to the center in the middle reservoir area. And what we should have done is when we ported to the middle, we should have started rallying all the buildings on the sides from the middle. But what we actually ended up doing is just, I don't know, we kind of just sat there and just let them put their reinforcements in all those buildings. Nimki was the only person who was able to beat rallies from Dazza. I was kind of helpless in this regard. And I kept losing against this Astro guy. I don't even, yeah, his stats were pretty sick. They actually weren't like that much higher than mine, but they were higher enough, and his heroes formation was just better enough. And we were running out of troops. As you saw from the very jump, I had already lost. Like, in this one match, I healed maybe 1,000,000 troops. You know? That's a lot of speed ups. Now I'm going back to the strategy of just hitting settlements. But these guys are smart. They're sending their troops away. They're reinforcing their bigger players. They're setting fake rallies and stuff. So when I hit them, I'm not hitting what they truly have at home, and they're able to protect those troops. We're still winning right now, but the deficit is getting really close. So look, there you go. They're coming up. They're at 101, 102, and now they've passed us. And I think at this point, I don't think we ever get the lead back again. They have about 26 minutes left, and they are just going to stump a mud hole in us. They're just going to really beat us, like, bad. They're going to beat us down. And no lack of effort on our side. Like, we really were trying, but they just had the better stats. They had the better strategy, the better teamwork at the time. And I think that if we fought again today in a reservoir raid or a water raid in, like, the next coming weeks, I think that we'd have a different outcome. We've gotten smarter after facing these guys. We have more troops, and I think that Astro and Dazza, they would have a pleasant surprise waiting for them. So Nimki's saying he's holding 5 facilities, and he's like wondering like, hey, where's everybody else doing? And so I'm looking to see like who I can beat, but I already know I can't beat Dazza. I already know I can't beat Astro. So I'm looking for someone I can beat, you know. I'm trying to protect our folks. As you see there, I saw that Dazza was going to hit that place, and so I started sending people home because I knew that they would get their troops wiped if they stayed there. And, you know, we only have 22 minutes left, but that's 22 minutes where we could use those troops. And as you can see here, now I'm kind of taking my time a little bit more, trying to get those formations just right. I mean, I am only using T10. I'm still, like, to this day, I'm still doing tests to see if it's a better formation with T9 and T10 or just straight up T10. Nimki feels like it's just T10. However, in my Discord, you can see that there's, like, a huge debate all the time about what's better between using T1 through T10 or just using T9 and T10 or T8 through T10. So if you're not part of my Discord channel, I'm going to put the link in the description of this video. That way you can join and kind of give your input as well. And then maybe one day when we find like the actual perfect troop formation, you can get that information because you'll be a part of my Discord. So still struggling here. Rallies galore. Just trying. You know, we're only down by 25,000. We were down by a bigger deficit before. We can still come back. But it just doesn't seem like that's the case. You can see that myself and Nimki were basically holding down our team with about the same amount of points. Nimki had about 445,000. I had about 444,000 points. And we're just struggling, you know. I hope, you know, Nimki, you watch this video and you see that I was trying my best. I know you didn't think so, but I really was, you know. The heals were getting to me. I was going through all my speed ups. And S27, I know you're watching this video, so I hope you're proud of beating us down, and now it's going to be public on YouTube from now on. So let's see here. So now S27 is going for the middle, and we have one of our guys, Tufel, who is holding it. And obviously Tufel's stats aren't strong enough to beat Dazza. And realistically, this isn't even Tuful's real account because he is in State 100. So shout out to Truffles in State 100. So now we also lost the middle. We not only don't have the supporting buildings on both sides of the main reservoir, but now we also lost the main reservoir. So their points are going to get even higher. And now I'm going to do my biocaps. I dropped from about 250,000 biocaps to 146. And the deficit for points is getting even larger. We have about 15 minutes left. And I think around the 10-minute mark or the 5-minute mark, me and Nemke are just kind of like, screw it. There's no way for us to come back from this deficit. And then we just give everything into attacking their settlements. And it gets us some points, you know. It helps us out a little bit, but we're not able to come back. They just have so many more troops than us. They have 2 guys who can beat me, which means if they can beat me, then there's no one else in our team who can beat them besides Nemke, you know? So I have the second best stats in our squad. And they beat the second best, and the only person who can beat them is the number 1 guy, you know? So Dazza and Astro are still going crazy, just beating everybody. We're rallying, folks. We're taking rallies. I'm going to take this one building with just a couple of troops just to get some futile last little bit of points. At this point, the deficit is almost 60,000 points. We're not going to make that up in the next 15 minutes or so. I'm already back up to 438,000 troops that need to be healed. So in this one event alone, I've already healed over 1 million, I believe. And then I've had in my hospital probably like 1.7 million troops. And I don't heal all of those, obviously, because I just don't have those kind of speed ups. So now 166 to 216. And we tell our folks, hey, you know, just try getting like the little water tanks. So about, I don't know the time, like the time bookmarks where they start sending out those water tanks, but a lot of people underrate those too. If you click on the top right screen where it says battle map, it'll show you where the water tanks are located. Make sure that you guys are using the strategy of getting those water tanks as well as getting the buildings, because you can have half of the buildings, but if the other team has the other half of the buildings plus are getting those water tanks, they'll end up beating you, which has happened to us before as well, because they were getting those water tanks. We were getting the points and whatnot. We were killing it, and then all of a sudden they just like barely passed us because they were also getting water tanks. So we're just sitting here for now, just trying to figure out what's going on. And now we're about at the 6-minute mark, and you'll see where we're kind of like, you know, screw this. Let's go start, you know, knocking some heads. We have about half of the buildings, but they're still getting more points than us. And see, my point right there, as you see on the screen, they have all these water tanks. We have none. We have more buildings than they do, but they're still getting more points than we are getting. And now their guys are hitting us. I'm at 640,000 troops that need to be healed. And I think at this point, I was 120 million power coming in, and I had about maybe 1 million troops. So I've already lost about 3/4 of my troops, a little bit over half my troops. I'm probably running on fumes at this point. Used up a ton of biocaps, a ton of speed ups, just trying to give these guys a run for their money, and it just didn't work too well for me. Letting them know I'm leaving the central, and now just raining hellfire. With the little bit of troops I have left, I'm going to make them remember who I am, which, you know, hopefully they do. So Dazza is rallying the center again. Stebbs is the one who's leading the center right now, and unfortunately he doesn't have the stats to stand up to Dazza. None of us really did at that point, besides Nemke. And as you just saw, like they're very smart. I was going to attack this guy, the HQ-30, and before my march could get there, he ported away. That means, you know, he took no damage, but I was able to steal that building from him, though. See, every time I go for someone, they just pour it away. Every time. They're smart. They're very smart. They know how to conserve their troops. That is for sure. Just using up all my speed ups. Speeding all these marches. And we're about to lose 2-1, and we were defeated. This was the final score. And then I did get MVP. Surprisingly, I got MVP over Nimki. That just means that he may have not been able to get out and do as much fighting as he wanted to at the very end of it. But yeah, GG's to State 27. You guys did have a 2-star and a 1-star at the time, and we only had myself who's a 1-star, or who was a 1-star. And, congratulations on that win. That was only the second time at that point that we had ever lost Water Raid. So the first time we lost was in one of my prior videos. You can go take a look at that. And then you guys were our very second loss. So again, congratulations. Shout out to Dazza. Shout out to Astro. Shout out to, who is the other one that I said for them? Whoever else is in State 27. I know a lot of you guys are in my Discord, so I appreciate you guys being there. You guys do give out a lot of good information. And here's the video you've been bugging me about for weeks now. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. There's another Reservoir Raid video coming soon. Is one that I had recorded from this past Reservoir Raid. So you'll see kind of the new and improved strategy that we had. We actually won that one. So you'll finally get to see a video of us winning this event instead of we keep losing, which was rare. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you join my Discord. And until next time, stay tuned for more here from State of Survival with Sticky Fang Gaming.